Fox 2 presents Hancock and Kelley.
Good Sunday morning to you. Welcome to Hancock and Kelley on Fox 2, where we take on the top issues of the week. On the right is John Hancock.
Good morning.
And on the left, Michael Kelley.
Good morning.
I'm Andy Banker. On the agenda this morning, St. Louis's top prosecutor, the Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner, makes the case to keep her job. And now there's news she could go to jail. MoDOT puts up signs on Interstate 70 honoring a fallen Marine, but then sends a bill for it to the Marine's family. Lawmakers call that an embarrassment for the state. It's our quote of the week. St. Louis Congresswoman Cori Bush continues to pay her husband tens of thousands of dollars from her campaign fund. And Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker keeps surfacing as a potential candidate for president of the United States. We've also got a Hunter Biden update, but we begin with the storm swirling around St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner. Attorneys went to court to argue her motion to dismiss the state attorney general's case to remove her from office. Now, you'll hear from attorneys on both sides stating their cases in the courtroom, and then you'll hear from a former Gardner assistant among the many who simply won't work for her anymore.
They haven't stated a single allegation against Ms. Gardner that she intended for any of these outcomes to happen.
When you repeat a process that isn't working over and over again, your intentional failure to do more is willful neglect.
I want the public to know that we weren't set up to succeed. And that's exactly what the Attorney General said, because it's true.
And that woman there, Natalia Ogurkowicz, says she has documentation of what appears to be systemic mismanagement of the office, which has led to a backlog of thousands of crimes waiting for action from the circuit attorney. Plus murder cases being dropped because prosecutors aren't showing up for trials. Her top assistants continue to quit, and other plans to leave this week, reportedly now leaving just two to handle hundreds of felony cases, including violent crimes. The judge laid out a timeline in the Attorney General's case that stretches into September. John, can St. Louis wait until September for a resolution here?
No. I mean, the office is functionally closed now. And you've got two attorneys left prosecuting these murder, high felony cases. What about all the other crime? The car thefts, the break-ins, the carjackings that are taking place. All of that is gone by the wayside. Forget about enforcing traffic laws. And you see what's happening. It's lawlessness, and it's not solely caused by Kim Gardner's office, but she is throwing gasoline on that fire. She needs to go, and her defense is that she's not doing it on purpose. Well, she's not getting the job done, and it's failing. And look, if this happened in the Recorder of Deeds office, we'd all be laughing about it. Ha, ha, ha. But this is serious.
Just given the state of the staffing there, the few number of people actually doing the work, should the legislature fast track the idea that would allow the governor to appoint special prosecutors to come in and help out?
Sure. But the quickest way for this to be resolved is for there to be leadership in the St. Louis, city of St. Louis. And they had the mayor and the president of the board of aldermen who said, let's do some soul searching. How much more soul searching do we need to do? Kim Gardner got elected on a progressive thought process. She said that there was injustice happening because people were sitting in jail too long, weren't getting access to a speedy trial. She is the reason they are sitting there. Where is this progressive outrage over the fact that many of the reforms that she had ran on, she has worsened? Kim Gardner is in free fall, and we have no leadership in this city that's standing up to point out that she is a problem and must go.
Yeah. So defendants are spending more time in jail waiting for her office to take action.
Exactly.
Or to show up or to prosecute trials.
And they want her to do some soul searching. There's not going to be any souls left to search down there in a couple of weeks. She is a huge problem in this city. And the fact that the mayor has been silent is a disgrace. It's an outrage. This is an absolute crisis, the likes of which I don't think, and you've got some horrible prosecutors out there across the country, thanks to George Soros and his ilk. But I can't think of another jurisdiction in the United States. And here's another outrage. Kim Gardner is going to be profiled on 48 Hours on CBS. Because of the Johnson case, the guy that was innocent and got out of jail. Somebody nationally is doing public relations for her. She's been on 60 Minutes. Now this is an absolute disaster in St. Louis, and it's got to get fixed.
Well, aside from the city of St. Louis, there is a group of mayors now calling on the state legislature to address the Kim Gardner crisis. The mayors of Wildwood, Manchester, Bridgeton, and Brentwood are calling on the state legislature to combine her office with the St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office to help keep crimes from too often going unpunished in the city. At the same time, Circuit Judge Scott Milliken in the city of St. Louis has ordered Gardner to appear in court tomorrow to show why she should not be held in criminal contempt of court and face jail time possibly. No one from her office showed up for a murder trial last week. The judge says accused killer Jonathan Jones, who was accused of a brutal shooting death near the Gateway Arch, has asserted his right to a speedy trial, meaning the case could be dismissed if it's not completed by next week. So he's calling Kim Gardner into court to explain what is going on with this case, since no one from her office showed up to prosecute the trial when it was to start this past Monday.
Well, you can't blame these regional mayors for wanting to consolidate this, because this is not a problem that's staying wholly contained inside the city of St. Louis. That once you have the idea that lawlessness can exist and you can get away with any crime, that attracts an element that spreads like a cancer. And it's affecting our entire region. It's why the state's having to step in. Thank goodness these folks are standing up. Mayors in surrounding cities seem to care more than the elected officials in the city of St. Louis.
Well, I asked County Prosecutor Wesley Bell about this, and he said we're all for cooperation, but he said I'm also for prosecutors being voted into and voted out of office.
We all are. But desperate times call for desperate measures. I don't want the prosecutors being taken out on a whim. I think we have a special circumstance here. I don't know how much more evidence we have to stack in front of people that this is beyond repairable. This is no longer standing for a thought process. This is standing for lunacy and incompetence.
Is this another possible route to go? Combine the offices? One prosecutor's office?
It could. And Wesley Bell, who's also progressive, has run his office, and they're putting criminals in jail. That's good. The other thing, this town is full of former prosecutors that are in law firms all over St. Louis that have worked in those offices. They know the law, they know the cases, they know how to prosecute. I'll bet that law firms in St. Louis would be willing to lend some of that expertise to get some of these folks moving along in their court process.
But not with Kim Gardner at the top of the heap.
Well, she's got to go. And she's going to go.
St. Louis Congresswoman Cori Bush, who is facing complaints with the Federal Election Commission for doling out campaign money to her husband, appears to be doubling down. Bush is under scrutiny for paying Courtney Merritt's more than $62,000 last year for security services, even though Merritt's apparently is not licensed as a security guard. Now, he and Bush were married in February. In the wake of the complaints, new campaign finance documents show Merritt's is still on the campaign payroll, getting $2,500 in February and March. Now, the Bush campaign released a statement saying Merritt's has provided bona fide services. Did you see anything wrong with this, Michael?
Well, I guess it's her prerogative. Let's just remember that Cori Bush came in running against an establishment candidate saying we can't continue to act like normal politicians. We need to do something different and stand up for our constituents. Every time we hear what Cori Bush is up to, we start to see she's really just an old politician. Where's the outrage coming from folks who wanted to see a difference? Cori Bush is an establishment politician who is all about taking care of herself, and her rhetoric is simply that.
I don't know if this is criminal, right? But there's an ethical conflict. Should that not have some kind of consequences?
Well,
she doesn't seem to be worried about it.
She wants to lift up the people that have been left out, Andy. And if you've been left out, she'll lift you up, and she'll pay you $2,500 a month to do it. And she might even marry you. She's just out there helping her constituents one at a time, I suppose. This is a hypocrite, an absolute hypocrite, and what a disgrace.
Now to our quote of the week. It has to do with new signs on Interstate 70 in Wentzville in honor of Marine Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz. The 20-year-old was among 13 service members killed in a suicide bombing during the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in September 2021. MoDOT has renamed an overpass after Schmitz. Schmitz's father says MoDOT also sent the family a bill for $3,200 for the signs and upkeep. He says the money was not an issue, giving overwhelming contributions to Jared's charity called the Freedom 13, which supports veterans and honors the fallen. But Schmitz's father worries about cases where money may be an issue. He says this has come up in states where the other 12 who died that day and have been honored. This has not come up in the states where they live. Our quote of the week is from Wentzville Republican State Rep Tricia Burns, who says, "This really embarrasses Missouri. We really want to honor our heroes. This is a fix I think we have to make very quickly." She's introduced a bill to end the practice of sending bills for memorial signs to the families of the fallen. Should Missouri be embarrassed, John Hancock?
I don't know how this law even came into effect. Surely it wasn't written about honoring military heroes.
I don't think there's a law. I think it's just a process.
An internal policy
Yeah.
at MoDOT. Yeah, it's embarrassing, and it needs to be fixed. And we should not send a $3,200 bill to the family of a fallen hero.
Yeah, I don't know that there's much to add.
Well, we've recently lost a couple other service members in the helicopter accident in Kentucky from Missouri, the Herman police officer.
Right.
You know, if we want to honor them, should MoDOT send them a bill?
Well, of course not. And, the governor's too busy worried about, ridiculousness to worry about what his own government's up to. So hopefully he'll get focused on this and help fix it. It's a shame that a legislator has to stand up for families that are in this terrible time.
Up next on Hancock and Kelley, the showdown over the U.S. debt ceiling. Will it mean economic disaster for all of us? Also, new developments in the Hunter Biden case. A whistleblower has come forward.